middle school language arts teacher and author of the Lucia Chronicles. Today's video is 5 steps to writing a query letter. Recently I have been querying some agents, and I've attended 2 writing conferences, and in these conferences I've learned some things about how to write a query letter. So whether or not I'm successful yet is still to be determined, but there is basically a formula for writing a query letter that I'd like to share with you. So step 1 of writing your query letter is to give a brief, I'm just going to call it a feed to the ego. So you want to do your research. So step 1 is feed the ego. You want to know the agent's or editor's name. You want to make sure that their name is spelled correctly. You want to make sure that the agent or editor that you're querying represents the genre that your story is. You also want to make sure that you know if they're open to queries. You want to make sure that you know a little bit about them. Oftentimes if you just Google the agent, you can find blog interviews. The agency website often has information about the agent or publisher's marketplace. Some things you can see for free on there, other things there's a monthly fee of $25. So number 1 is to feed the ego, for lack of something better. Number 2, you want to make sure that you know what genre you're writing in and what your word count is. The best way to do that is to Google the title that you have right now, and it's okay to have your title that you came up with. It's often called a working title. So, you know, go into Amazon or Google the topic or the themes, or, you know, see where your book fits in. So that is number 2, is to know your genre. Step 3 is to have a logline and a synopsis. If you don't know what a logline is, you can check out my video on this channel that's all about writing a logline. And for me, in my query letter, I had pitched an editor at the Midwest Writers Workshop. So I just included that as my synopsis in my letter. So basically the main things that you want to look at in writing a synopsis are basically, why should the agent care? Like, why should the agent invest in your story? So you want to make it interesting, but you don't want to give too much away. So that's step 3, is your logline and your synopsis. And then I have step 4, and step 4 is a brief bio about you and your credentials. It should not be long unless it's relevant. So if you're pitching a nonfiction book on fishing and you're a professional fisherman and you've won lots of awards, then it's relevant to include that in your bio. I did not include the titles that I've self-published, but I did mention that how many books I've self-published, which I just self-published my 7th book. So that is something important to include. I mentioned that I was a teacher. I mean, doesn't make me a better writer, no, but I work regularly with my target audience. So I only probably had about 3 sentences that were about myself. And then step 5 is to have your closing and to thank them for their time. You know, at no point in your letter should you demean yourself or belittle your abilities. So you want to thank them for taking the time and include all of your contact information. Phone numbers you can be reached at, emails that you can be reached at, and that's my dog, she just came in the room. And what address possibly that you can, like actually snail mail address that you can be reached at. And if you have a website, which you should, even if you're not a published author, but you want to be, you should have a, sorry, that's my dog. But you should also have a, you should have your website included. This is Menace Ann. So you should have that included in your letter as well. So the 5 steps were: number 1, feed the ego; number 2, know your genre; number 3, include your logline and your synopsis. That should be the majority of your letter. Step 4 would be to a brief biography or publishing credentials for yourself. And number 5, to not belittle yourself and respect their time and thank them. Do know that most query letters should be about a page long. They should not exceed a page, general rule of thumb. And also know that it will take anywhere between 3 to 6 months for an agent or an editor to get back to you. I did have one agent who just wanted a query letter and no sample pages get back to me really quick, just saying like, nope, not for me. which is fine. You have to have a thick skin and know that even J.K. Rowling was rejected numerous times before Harry Potter got picked up. So if J.K. Rowling can be rejected, I'm just saying, it puts it into perspective. So those are the 5 steps to writing a query letter. I'll keep you posted on my own success. In the meanwhile, check out my latest children's picture book that I also illustrated, Lizzie or Liz, Never Elizabeth, and the Unbirthday. It's a perfect story if you have a child in your life with a birthday close to the holidays, which would be my best friend's baby, my nephew. He has a birthday December 23rd because he was born a month early. So he's going to be having his birthday parties usually on June 23rd. So I decided to write a book about it, and it's gotten a lot of positive feedback in terms of where was this when I was a kid. So check that out. It's available on Amazon and on Kindle, and the Kindle version also has audio with it. And if you purchase the paperback in the Amazon Match program, the Kindle version is free. So that's all I have for you today. Happy querying. In the meanwhile, happy reading and happy writing.